Dear Pi Pioneers, family members deep in my soul. Hello everyone. Today, I do not want to stand on the podium and fob everyone off with prepared slides and data. Today, I want to pull up a chair, sit as close to the camera as possible, shed all halos and defenses, and have a genuine, perhaps even painful, inner monologue with you. This is not an official announcement. It is a moment of awakening from me personally. As a co-founder of Pi Network, and as a computer scientist and anthropologist, rigorously trained at Stanford, I have always prided myself on being dedicated to building a fairer, more accessible cryptocurrency ecosystem. However, in recent years, especially when reading community feedback late at night, I have felt a deep sting. I have heard the growing voices in the community, some even turning into angry roars. You say, the core team has changed. You have become arrogant. You have become distant. You are like a group of elites living in an ivory tower, disdaining to communicate with us ordinary pioneers. Hearing these words makes my heart bleed, because this was never our intention. But as a scientist, I must honestly face the data, and I must honestly face human feedback. Today, I want to honestly admit, yes, we failed in communication. I want to dissect the reasons behind this. I want to explain why we unwittingly built this high wall. And more importantly, I want to promise future change. Let us walk through this process of self-examination together, because Pi Network is our shared dream. Only through this almost brutal honesty can we regain that lost trust. Chapter 1. The fading of passion and the building of high walls. Let us pull our memories back to 2019. At that time, Pi Network was just born. That was a moment full of passion and idealism. A group of us computer scientists and crypto enthusiasts gathered in a cramped lab at Stanford, dreaming of creating a truly mass-market cryptocurrency. We hope to allow ordinary people to achieve financial inclusion without expensive mining rigs, just by using a mobile phone. At that time, our communication was so frequent and enthusiastic. I remember back then I would reply to every pioneer's message in the app. I would debate with everyone in the community forum until dawn. At that time, I could name many early pioneers. We were like a startup company, vibrant, perhaps a bit chaotic, but our hearts were together. But as the scale of the project exploded, everything seemed to change. Tens of millions of pioneers poured in, and a global network formed. To cope with this exponential growth, we had to become more and more professional, more and more institutional. Our updates became increasingly filled with technical jargon, and our announcements became more like diplomatic rhetoric. Our appearances became fewer and fewer, only showing up at major milestones. This made many people feel that we were like rulers in a tower, far away, arrogantly ignoring the calls of the community. Dear pioneers, I must admit, this is indeed a shortcoming in our communication. It was not intentional, but it did hurt the trust between us. This has made me repeatedly examine the behavior of myself and the team over the recent months. Why did we become like this? Did we forget our original intention? Or did we really become arrogant elites? Today, I want to open my heart and dissect the truths behind this one by one. Chapter 2. Not arrogance, but the suffocation of heavy burdens first. I want to emphasize with all my might, we are absolutely not arrogant. On the contrary, every one of us comes from an ordinary background. I myself am a researcher who came out of academia, deeply understanding the importance of grassroots power. Arrogant? No, that has never been our label. We are humble builders, facing coding challenges every day, often staring at screens, debugging protocols at 3 in the morning. Do you know? In the early days of Pi Network, I personally replied to countless community messages. The joy of interacting with pioneers made me feel that we were not building a project, but weaving a global network of warmth. But why did communication decrease? A major reason is the immense pressure of internal resources. As a decentralized project that insisted on not taking venture capital, VC money, we did not have billions of dollars to hire a massive PR team. Everything relied on the dedication of the core team and the contribution of the community. Please imagine the situation we face. We need to process hundreds of millions of mining data points simultaneously, ensuring the security of the blockchain while under millions of attacks per second. We need to deal with compliance audits in over 200 countries, globally. One wrong step could get the entire project banned. We need to build our own KYC system, because no third-party company could handle such a massive user volume. These tasks are like mountains, pressing down on us until we can barely breathe. We poured almost all our energy into these core tasks because we knew deeply that if the foundation was unstable, the entire Pi network would face the risk of collapse. For example, in 2024, we spent months iterating the KYC system. At that time, the community was full of doubts. Why is there no news? Did the project team run away? In fact, at that time, our engineers were sleeping in the office because any small loophole could lead to the privacy leakage of millions of pioneers. We dared not speak, dared not make promises before the problem was solved. We worried that sharing immature information too early would trigger unnecessary panic, or misleading, plunging the community into greater confusion. This is not arrogance. This is responsibility. We guard this project like parents guarding a child. We didn't want external noise to interfere with internal robust construction. We naively thought that as long as we made the product well, everyone would naturally understand. But we were wrong. We ignored that in a decentralized community, being seen is as important as getting it done. Chapter 3, Fear and the Curse of Perfectionism. Another reason for our aphasia is the complexity and risk of the crypto world. Pi Network is not a simple chat app. It is a global economic system involving multiple layers such as regulation, privacy, and security. The external environment is full of uncertainty, scrutiny from regulators, the proliferation of fake accounts, market speculative fluctuations. All of these require us to be extremely cautious. Remember 2023. At that time, many crypto projects fell into legal disputes because of overpromising. And some founders even ended up in prison. We saw those lessons with our own eyes. This created a kind of survivor bias, fear in us. We chose to keep a low profile, avoiding too many public statements to avoid being misunderstood or exploited by malicious short sellers. At the same time, our team size is limited. Only dozens of people, yet we have to serve tens of millions of users. This means we often exhaust our energy in technical breakthroughs, neglecting emotional communication. I recall those nights when we finally solved the mainnet migration bug. We should have shared the joy immediately, but exhaustion made us choose silence. We told ourselves, let's talk about it tomorrow. Fix the next bug first. This was not a lack of desire to communicate, but limited energy. We prioritized doing over saying. But now I have awakened. This choice was actually short-sighted. It ignored the emotional needs of the community. You are not data. You are living individuals with questions, expectations, and enthusiasm. We should have balanced building and speaking better, letting you feel that we were always by your side. There is another deeper reason, which is our pursuit of perfection. As a scientist, I am accustomed to pursuing rigor and precision. This is good when writing papers, but when applied to community management, it became a double-edged sword. We often waited until everything was ready before releasing updates. For example, regarding the details of the mainnet opening, we audited them repeatedly for months before daring to make them public. The intention was good to avoid disappointment, but the result was making the community feel alienated in the silence that lasted for months. Rumors bred and confidence wavered. Arrogant. No, we were just too afraid of failure, too afraid of disappointing you. Think of those pioneer stories. Young people from Africa changing their lives through Pi mining. Developers sharing code in the community to build utility apps. These stories should have been our bridge of communication, but we missed the opportunity to share because we focused internally. This makes me feel deep regret in my awakening. I recently reread our white paper, and the community-driven principle emphasized in it brought tears to my eyes. How could we forget? The success of Pi Network does not rely on the smarts of the team, but on your collective wisdom. Chapter 4, The Moment of Awakening. From fear to courage, this process of awakening was gradual. It stemmed from your feedback on X, in app reviews, in community forums. Your expressed confusion and expectations struck me like alarm bells. In December 2025, when we saw migration speed accelerate and user verifications exceed 17,500,000, I should have celebrated. But a sense of unease surged inside me. Why are there still so many questions in the community? Why are people still asking why KYC is stuck? Why didn't we explain sooner? At that moment, I sat in my office, looking out the window, recalling the original intention when the project started. We are not here for fame or profit, but for a fairer world. But if communication is broken, if pioneers no longer trust us, how can we realize this vision? This introspection brought me to tears. It made me realize that the appearance of arrogance is actually a byproduct of our inner fear and focus. We didn't want to not communicate. We were drowned by challenges and forgot the importance of listening. But awakening brought hope. It let me see that change starts now. We don't need to be perfect to speak. We need to sincerely share the difficulties and challenges along the way. Chapter 5. Actions of Redemption. Rebuilding the contract of trust, dear pioneers. From this awakening, we will make substantive changes. This is not a blank check. This is an action plan. First, in terms of communication frequency, we will undergo a complete transformation. No longer intermittent technical announcements, but regular, multi-channel interaction. In the future, we plan to hold a live stream meeting every month, where I or team members will personally participate to share project progress, answer questions, and even discuss community proposals. For example, next month, we will launch the Voice of Pioneers series, allowing you to submit questions, which we will respond to in real time. This is not just a formality, but a sincere dialogue. Second, we will enhance transparency. Through the developer portal, we will open source more code repositories, audit reports, and roadmap details. In the past, we worried about leaking sensitive information, but now we will balance security and openness, letting you see our daily efforts. We want everyone to know where we encounter difficulties and what help we need from you. Third, in ecosystem construction, we will focus more on community participation. In 2026, we will expand the Pi Hackathon, not only providing 160,000 Pi in prizes, but also inviting winners to join core discussion groups. The App Studio will launch more tutorials to help ordinary pioneers build payment tools or NFT markets. These measures are not top-down designs, but community-driven. We will set up voting mechanisms to let you decide the direction of priority development. Furthermore, we will optimize existing processes to respond to your pain points. For example, the KYC system, we have already introduced name mismatch fixes and phone number corrections. But in the future, we will simplify it further, aiming to shorten processing time to within a few days. In the second phase of mainnet migration, we will accelerate the unfreezing of assets and iterate node reward distribution through community feedback, expected to be realized by the end of the first quarter of 2026. All of this is to make you feel a sense of belonging. We will also strengthen our social media presence. On X, we will post daily small updates, sharing team stories. For example, how a developer improved the protocol based on pioneer feedback. These changes will start from within in team meetings. We will allocate specific time to discuss community feedback, ensuring everyone treats pioneers with a partner mindset. Conclusion: please forgive our imperfections. More importantly, this change will permeate every corner of the Pi network. We will redefine communication, not as a one-way broadcast, but as a two-way exchange. Imagine, in the future, you can participate in virtual roundtables to discuss adjustments to tokenomics with us. You can contribute code and receive immediate recognition. This will make Pi Network stronger because your wisdom is our greatest asset. Dear friends, please forgive our past shortcomings. We are not perfect, but we have heart and determination. We once walked too fast and forgot to wait for the soul. Now, we want to stop and take your hands. The journey of Pi Network has just begun. Let us join hands and write the next chapter together. Your feedback is our lighthouse. If you have questions, express them at any time. We will listen, respond, and act. Because Pi Network is not mine, nor the team's. It is a big family for all of us. A digital home full of warmth, inclusivity, and infinite possibilities. Thank you for your tolerance, and thank you for your companionship. Sincerely.